less.
As thousands of Bay Area high school football players began practicing for the new season this week, the I-Team uncovered allegations concerning one of the biggest names on the local football scene in years. As Chief Investigator Alan Cohn reports, the transfer of James Wilder Jr. from one high school to another raises concerns by some about a larger problem in high school sports.
When James Wilder Jr. announced earlier this year he would play his college football at FSU, the news was so big it was carried live on some local stations.
We can finally get this big load off my back. Everybody know where I'm going, so.
But it wasn't the first time an announcement by Wilder about where he would play ball rocked the local sports world. When Wilder, the son of Buccaneers all-time leading rusher James Wilder Sr., transferred from Chamberlain High School to Plant 2 years ago, it was to many just the latest example of what's wrong with high school sports. Go. Just a couple of miles down the road from Plant, Robinson High School head coach Mike Depew is still astounded.
You look at the Wilder kid who was an outstanding player at Chamberlain, then he ends up at Plant, you know. How does that happen? Where did it come from? Was it kids, parents, boosters, coaches? Who knows?
Rumors ran rampant in sports blogs about the how and where it came from. The transfer of Wilder, a phenomenal two-way player to powerhouse Plant, fit a pattern of star players moving out of their school districts to greener turf somewhere else.
First of all, there's a misnomer. There's a difference between recruiting and transferring, and people use those words interchangeably, and they're not the same. Recruiting is an illegal act. Transferring is definitely allowable by state law.
Under strict guidelines, says County Athletic Director Lannis Robinson, students have to sign this affidavit swearing they weren't recruited by coaches or anyone else. And while transfers are allowed under the county's school choice policy, or if a family moves from one district to another, there is no allowance for a sports-related transfer. But questions remain about the transfer of several Chamberlain football players. The I-Team has obtained a copy of a complaint filed by the high school to the county athletic director, alleging Brian Turner, a former assistant football coach, helped shop Wilder to Plant and other players to other area powerhouses. Although the names of the players were redacted on the copy given to us, multiple sources confirm Wilder was one of them. The complaint by Chamberlain's athletic director claims Turner talked to a coach at Plant about Wilder and even helped him move into an apartment near the school.
It was me did the recruiting for schools.
In an exclusive interview with the I-Team, James Wilder Sr. says his son did transfer out of Chamberlain for football reasons after the retirement of legendary coach Billy Turner.
That whole entourage just left, and then we decided to move.
He would not say whether he was encouraged by any former coaches, but he does say he talked to Plant about football.
That's what I told Plant. He can go anywhere. Because you won the championship the year before he got there, it doesn't matter to me.
And Wilder says he did talk football with other schools as well.
You know, I checked Armway. I had some coaches that I coached with and all that.
But Wilder insists he sent his son to Plant for academic reasons and moved into the school district to meet the residency requirement. After all, the affidavit filed with the High School Athletic Association prohibits a school from having improper contact with a student or a member of his or her family in an effort to urge that student to go to that school.
Was this investigated?
Yes.
What happened?
We checked into everything with that allegation, and none of the information that was provided in that document turned out to be as we found it.
Interestingly, Brian Turner says he was acted about any investigation. Lannis Robinson says it wasn't necessary because he wasn't implicated in any way. If you have any information about recruiting violations or complaints, email us at iteam@abcactionnews.com. Alan Cohn, ABC Action News.
What do you